Hello, and welcome back to Just Talking Business. As you know, this is a show where we're talking to business owners about their pivot plan because we're very curious about how they're able to stay alive and, in most cases, thrive. And today we are talking to someone in an industry that, first of all, I've never interviewed, but I mean, I'm really intrigued by this because it's a woman in a male dominant industry. So let me just stop wasting time. Here she is. Hey, Candace, how are you?
How are you?
So we just met,
Yes.
and I don't want to talk long because I wanted her to give you all the juicy stuff before she started talking to me. But I'm very excited when Allie reached out to me and said, you sell cigars, which is one of those things that is very unusual. Her name is Candace Ford, and her company is Ladies Love Cigars. But I'll let you tell more about it. Who are
Okay.
you? What do you do?
Yes. I just recently launched, well, I've been in business for about a little over a year now, and
Mhm.
I launched LLC Cigars, and it's off the premise of Lady Love Cigars, and it's also on the premise of business-minded individuals is why I have the acronym LLC. So it's about, like my cigars are kind of like labeled after like a CEO, a director, a founder, and it's about people in business. Um, And when I say business or being the boss of a business, like you can be the
Okay.
boss of your home, you run your home. I know plenty of stay-at-home moms that do
Right.
that. You have women in business who are in the corporate ladder, you have teachers, whatever it may be. So I wanted to create a cigar line designed for those type of individuals, but I wanted to do it and have it for women as well, because like you said, it is a male dominated industry.
Mhm.
Nothing I wasn't scared to tap into because I have two older brothers, but
Right.
just trying to find my path in this male dominated industry.
Are your brothers in this industry as well?
No, no. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
yes, I decided to pick something that I wanted to do.
Okay.
I was in
Okay.
a situation where I was like, look, either you're going to do it now or you're not going to do it at all. And I knew I've always wanted to start my own business. I've started other businesses before. I have a nonprofit organization, but I came to a point like around COVID, like, okay, what are you going to do? Like, what is your purpose and what business
Mhm.
you want to do? And I knew I liked cigars. I would smoke them. For me, it was just to relax. Like during COVID, we didn't have anything to do. I mean,
Right.
so why not start a business on something that you love and is near and dear in your heart? Because I feel like if you do something beyond that just for money, then it's
Right.
not going to work. You need to do something that you're really passionate about because it's something that you're going to want to fight for.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Now, so we talked about it as a male dominant industry, and as I
Mhm.
did a little research, there's not a lot of data or statistics out there that I could find about how many women are really into cigars,
Mhm.
both as a consumer and a practitioner.
Right.
But ironically, I have friends who are women who like cigars,
Yeah.
so it made me curious about, is there a market out there for that audience? I mean, I even have a friend who has the holder with the diamonds on it. Like it's just that she's just that serious about it. So I'm wondering, did you have to do that kind of research in advance? And is there a market for women who are really into that type of product?
Absolutely, because the tobacco industry is a billion-dollar industry and it's
Hmm.
always been that way. But we come at a point where women are narrowing that gap with
Hmm.
those gender roles because since I want to say 2000, there's been a 315% increase in women smokers and women in the tobacco industry.
Wow.
So now there is a market for it. I think that started turning when people started doing targeted marketing toward women,
Hmm.
maybe having more events curated for women. So
Hmm.
it was a place for us where we didn't have to hide behind it. So we're going to go out and we're going to smoke our cigars with these men or with other women. So I
Right.
think as it started shifting, the tobacco industry, now more and more women are part of that billion-dollar industry, whether they're smoking, buying cigars, whether they started their own line. You have women that own cigar lounges.
Right. Right.
Ironically, when you go and like I did, I don't just go and white label my cigars. I did the research in tobacco, visited different places until I found the manufacturer that I wanted to work with. And by chance,
Mhm.
they were Dominican. My cigars are Dominican. And when I went into the plant and met with like the manufacturers there, probably 85 to 90% of the workers were women. the ones that are in
Really?
the farm picking the leaves, sorting the
Really?
leaves, ferment, yes, rolling and everything. So I was like, it gave me even more of an inspiration to want to do something because I was like, a lot of people don't understand that real women are behind these
Right.
cigars. Yes.
Right.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you tapped into something also that I'm very interested in. I have, I've interviewed some folks that are in that manufacturing space. So when you started this venture, did you understand you were probably going to have to deal with a company from outside the country? And how do you even start something like that? How do you like, where to go find the tobacco to make cigars? Like, how do you even start that venture?
It's a process, and I think it comes just from years of smoking different cigars.
Okay.
And once you do it, you really have to find a palette that you like because you can get cigars from anywhere. People like Cuban, you can get them
Mhm.
from Nicaragua, you can get them from DR, you can even get them from Hawaii, you can get them from Mexico. So at that point, it's finding out what you like and what your palette is. And I think for me, I had to do research and say, okay, I like this, I don't like this, it's too strong, you know.
Right.
So it took some time to kind of understand it. It was a learning process then, and I'm still learning in this industry as we go
Mhm.
every day.
Mhm.
So it's just about finding the palette and the cigars that you like.
I live in Miami, and
Mhm.
you've probably been down here in Little Havana, where there's like
Yes,
every
love
other
it.
shop is, but they all seem to be led by men.
Yeah,
So it's very interesting. But they're very intimate, and they will roll them right there in front of you. And I think that's one of the things the tourists like. Are
yeah.
you a purely e-commerce business, or do you also have a shop and a spot, or is that?
I basically do e-commerce and I do like a lot of events or go to like
Okay.
different festivals or whatever where, you know, tobacco smokers are, but basically mine is e-commerce.
Okay. And do you plan to stay that way? Is that the big picture goal, or?
No, my bigger picture for me is to have my own place. Just want to create something a little different than what we normally see now, because you know you
Mhm.
have like a lot of lounges, which is great.
Right.
But for me, I want to curate experiences. I want people when they smoke a cigar to really
Okay.
have an experience about it. So working my way about having my own spot with curated experiences
Very
is the
nice. And where are you based right now?
Houston,
Okay.
Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
So and then hopefully you'll branch out to Miami.
absolutely.
You'll have a market here. I will tell you, you will have a market here. Don't trust me. Um, So, okay, I was kind of doing a little research on you as well,
Mhm,
and I saw that you had a project Beautiful Me, which I'm
mhm.
assuming is your nonprofit.
Yes.
Then you also have a Champagne and Cigars podcast. Checked it out; it's really cool. It seemed to be a lot of fun because it seems like it's your friends y'all just sitting around having a good time.
Yes.
But it seems like you clearly have a passion
Mhm.
for appealing to women.
Yes.
Um, how did that become an audience you felt like you needed to tap into? Primarily because we're the ones doing most of the shopping anyway. So like, how'd you figure out that was where your passion? What's your mission with regards to all of the products being directed toward a woman industry?
I've always been about women empowerment. Even when I was young, I just found myself like I felt like people kind of was drawn to me, like my friends, for
Mhm.
whatever reason. And I felt I've always wanted to give back, and I've wanted to do that through women, for women, by women.
Okay.
Like I try to strategically, whenever I plan anything, I try to center women around me, whether it's through PR, whether it's through event planning, whatever. I've just always feel strength in women, and that's what I've always kind of fed off of.
Okay.
And then my first venture with women empowerment was Project Beautiful Me through young girls,
Hmm.
and I just felt like if I can get them at a young age, then they would be more productive women. You know,
Right.
trying to shift
Right.
them that way. But for some reason, I've just always been about female empowerment. I don't know why. It's something embedded in me. Could be from my mom, my
Mhm.
grandmother. I don't know, but it's just always something that was embedded in me.
When
Because I
when
feel
you
like,
walk.
you know, I know it's cliche to say women run the world, but I think we do. I mean, we're into everything, you know. So why not even push it to the forefront? And let me push it to the forefront with cigars too, because we can
Yeah.
do that too.
Yeah. Well, when you walk into rooms, though, I would imagine, you're in, we all go to conferences and places of that manner. Um, a lot of those folks are men. Are you finding yourself in a situation where you feel like you have to explain yourself? or defend your or validate your existence? Like, and how do you handle situations like that?
Sometimes you can walk into a room and it's like, oh, look at that boss, or
Mhm.
she's that girl, she's that woman. And then sometimes you can walk up into some and then they want to question you on everything that you know. But what do you know about cigars and how long this and where's
Mhm.
this from? It's and I felt like it's not a genuine, do you want to know why I'm into it? But it's because I'm a woman. Now,
Mhm.
you ask your male counterparts all these questions, or are you
Right.
just doing
To put
it
you
to
in
me
your
because
place.
I'm a woman? So, you know, I just have to handle it as I go, because you have both moments. You have some people who think, women don't know anything about this industry, and
Mhm.
we clearly do. And then sometimes I feel like I don't have to explain myself. So they'll be like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But sometimes I don't feel like I always have to explain myself. My
Mhm.
product or everything else should speak for itself.
Oh. Do you have a mentor in this business?
I actually do have a
Oh,
mentor.
cool.
It's not a woman. It's two
Okay.
guys there. One is actually in Tampa, Kevin with Conscious Cigars. I like to reach out to him. And then
Okay.
there's another guy, Lawrence, in Atlanta. And whenever I have a question, they're
Mhm.
free to answer my questions. And there's also another guy named Ken Hamlin here, and he has
Okay.
his own cigar line, but it's never been to where they wouldn't want to share any information with me. So I can say on that aspect, it's been pretty good for me
Right.
because, like I said, I'm trying to soak up information. I'm not here to say that I know everything about cigars. And I think they recognize that and know that I'm really, trying to get my
Mhm.
hustle on with this business.
That's very cool, actually. And that question just popped up because, I can imagine you like in front of a computer trying to figure it all out. What's been the most challenging aspect of building your business?
Brand awareness for me, because
Okay.
in the cigar business, people tend to smoke what they already know. And that doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily mean that it's a good cigar. It's just that's all that's being pushed out there. Because LLC cigar is considered like a boutique cigar,
Mhm.
as opposed to like your big brands like Davidoff or Gurdkar, or those bigger brands. I'm considered like a boutique. So for me, it's brand awareness, trying to make sure people know who LLC is and why you should smoke them. I try to do things a little different. Then I try to work on my packaging and making sure it looks like a luxury brand and making sure that looks nice. And my social media content, I try to really focus on those things to push the brand out there.
Your website looked like that too. It looked
Well,
like it was
thank you.
very, I mean, a premier brand. Even before
Yes,
I looked in the shop, I was like, "Oh, this is really sexy," and it almost feels like you just looked into a little bit of a lounge kind of thing. It's very cool. Y'all check it out. Y'all check it out. So I'm a brand new. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm not a smoker at all, and in my younger years, I tried
yes.
cigars. It wasn't my thing, but if I were to tab into smoking, what would be your advice for a new smoker, especially a woman who just just knows nothing?
My advice would be is to go visit like your local cigar shops, and when you go in, tell them that you're a new smoker. That way they won't shoot anything that's too strong for you. I would suggest trying something milder, just to get a feel of it, because it's just almost kind of like I can't tell you what to go and smoke. It's almost just like if you have a drink or if you like to drink wine. I can't
Mhm.
tell you what you may like. You just have to try different things until you find out what it is you like. But I just say take it slow and start with a
Okay.
mild cigar, nothing too strong, because then you won't want to do it again.
You're right, because that's exactly what happened. This is way before they had shops, and I just grabbed something. It was not a good experience. I'll try it again. I'll try it
Yes,
again. Try it
yes,
again.
please do.
So let me see what we got here. Now, okay, let's talk a little bit about your pivot plan. You say you got into this business about a year and a half ago, and that's specifically cigar business.
Mhm.
In business, have you had to pivot, and if so, why? What was the thing that made, like you said, you had to either do it or get out of or sit down somewhere. Where what was the pivot, and what has been the results?
Right now, I can say that crucial moment was because Texas have different laws
Mm,
here with tobaccos and alcohol. So a lot
mm.
of times you may visit a lounge and you can't have both. Like I can't sell tobacco and I can't sell wine at the same time. So
Really?
you have to visit. So I had to learn how to work around that. As far as doing it, like it's very rare here in Houston. I don't know if it's the ordinance or whatever, but it's hard to have them both in one place unless it's a BYOB or it's a private cigar club.
As an event.
As an event. Now, at an event, it's open. But if
Okay.
I'm just a regular, just want to say, oh, I want to go to this club and I want to smoke a cigar in the club and go buy a drink. You can't do that here. You have to specifically go to like a humidor or a private cigar lounge unless you're bringing your own alcohol. So trying to work around those things, yes. Or if not, then you have to be on a patio. Like it's like you can't be. It's just weird. I don't know why Texas is like that. I'm not sure with all the cigar lounges here, but
it's like, isn't that what happened at a cigar jar?
Exactly. So you just work around having events and being like more outside or going to festivals or stuff, or specifically catered to cigar events. Because sometimes it's hard, you know, because you want to go to like a regular lounge and have a cigar and you can't, and have a drink at the same time and you can't. Because I think they go hand in hand. But
I agree.
I can't control the law either. You know,
you can't even, like, you can't even market that way. You really have to market to one or the other audience.
Yes.
So how would you get a new audience of folks that have not, who may not know about your product? What's your best way to market? What have you found to be the strongest way to get your audience in?
For me, the best way is through events. And people seeing other people having, and I'm saying like events, like that's what I say, I want to have curated events because people are more likely to want to enjoy, like, okay, if I can do a pairing event, well, I have a nice 5-course meal, I have wines, and then I have cigars and I put them all together. So they'll be like, okay, let me try that. Or I can do something with like desserts. It's just about having experience.
Very nice. That's a very nice idea, really. What's your day like? I mean, you know, as a and wait, I'm gonna be honest. This might be a personal question I'm asking for me too, because I'm telling you, I cannot figure it out. So I literally just ask everybody who will pay attention to me. How do you get it all done?
I'm gonna tell you that a lot. If you know me, then you would know when I say this. I'm not just saying this, but I am literally like a Wonder Woman. I don't know how I'm able to manage 8 different things, but I do, because I wear a lot of hats. Like I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm all of these different things. And you'll have to find time for Candace. So it's like I've just learned how to manage things really well. And that's just basically it. Because like I say, I'm up from 5:30 to 12 o'clock at night, and it's every day, whether it's, you know, just balancing everything. And at the end of the day, I can just tell people it's just all about balance and knowing how to organize your day to day, because it can be done. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do multiple things, because you can.
Right. Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm fighting for that. I may need to tap into a little bit more advice on that one. So, are you ready to consider yourself a success?
Yes. And the first time I really noticed it, and it was like I had to step back and really just, because I started tearing up. And the first time, because you know how sometimes we can say we're doing something, but this time I actually have a product to sell. And when I walked into a cigar lounge and saw my cigars in the humidor and then people smoking them, that's when I was like, did this, like, and that's your cigar, you know. So at that moment I was like, okay, you did it, and you can do it, and you're gonna make it work.
That's good. That's good. Because I mean, especially manufacturing, again, that is no joke, really. Services is one thing, but when you're talking about manufacturing, that means you're really putting your money where your mouth is. So we've got some people that have made some comments. I thank y'all for tuning in. Who runs the world, girls? Let's go, Candace Ford.
Absolutely.
LLC in the building. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, indeed. Excellent. So you got a fan base.
Oh, I didn't know. I tried to.
So how's the podcast going?
It's going good. We're getting ready to gear back up in November, because I took a little hiatus because I wanted to focus on the cigars. But now that I have the cigar line intact, that'll be a reflection of the champagne and cigars. So it's kind of hand in hand. Yes.
Okay. So now that will also be an advertising tool for you as well.
Correct.
Do you have staff? Are you able to manage that?
I actually do. I have a team of about 6 women that
help.
do this. We have our weekly meetings and kind of everybody knows their role. So yes, I do. And I think in order to be successful, you have to have the perfect team. You can't do it by yourself. And then it makes sense for me because I absolutely 100% have the right people around me that support my dream and support, they stand by my product and what I do. So which makes it easier. As trying to just find random people, but they're passionate about what I do as well.
Great to hear that. So let me see. Where can we find you? We want to make sure we can find you later and get your cigars. And like I said, I saw the website, so y'all need to check it out. But go ahead, I'll let you tell them.
Okay, so my website is www.llcigars, that's llcigars.com. You can also find me on Instagram at llcigars. You can also find me on Facebook, Lady Love Cigars, and those are the 2 social media platforms that we have. And once again, on the website.
Thank you so much. And I hope you'll hold on afterwards because I just want to really catch up. I didn't want to learn anything about you before we had the show. Okay. So thank you all for tuning in, and please share this show because I know you're going to learn a lot from, especially just that manufacturing piece of it is that scares me. So I gotta say, you are a boss on that one.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on the show. I totally appreciate it.
Anytime. And we're gonna boost this and let more people know all about it. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Let's see here. Okay. That's going to wrap up our show, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in. We will see you again soon. And I'll let you know when. We'll definitely have it on our site, and we will definitely share more of these tips and this particular show through YouTube and through Spotify. So we hope you'll check it out again. We'll talk to you soon.